This performance from 100 Thieves might have been the most embarrassing Worlds International performance of all time. In my opinion, it's really nearing the Mad Lions 1647 loss in terms of embarrassment level, and it was just tragically horrible how bad this team performed from top to bottom. Coaching staff, drafting, execution, every single phase of the game, none of them were on the same page. The decision making was utter trash throughout. And it was just unfortunate to watch because this team was not hyped up going into Worlds, but they weren't expected to be this bad, especially in play-in stage. And quite honestly, it's got me thinking. I really wish it were C9, even though C9 completely collapsed and they were a complete joke of a team by the end. It definitely would have been better than this 100 Thieves trash. I don't even know what to say really about this. Sniper played horrible on the Cassante and the Renekton only. River definitely didn't do well. Quid completely ran it down every game he was in, pretty much, especially the 0-8 Vex game. It's just amusing. Whoever wanted to pick Vex in that situation should just be fired immediately. They have no idea what they're doing. They're completely delusional, and quite honestly, you can tell that they're bronze. But Quid played horrible throughout the whole tournament. Tomo played horrible throughout the whole tournament. Um, the play that comes to mind for Tomo is getting cold under the bot lane inhibitor turret and not even using flash at all and costing his team the game there. And then Ayla was just kind of there also running it. But as a whole 5-man squad even, 100 Thieves was just a complete mess, not on the same page ever, making absolutely terrible, needless decisions, fighting at the most random, useless times, and just like I said, making terrible decisions as a team. From top to bottom, every single phase, 100 Thieves was a complete failure at Worlds. And I really do think this is one of the most embarrassing international performances ever. And don't get me wrong, North America has had a lot of embarrassing international performances. It comes to mind all the old TSM days when they were really hyped up and they completely failed. The 06 TSM 2020. There have been plenty of terrible international performances for North America, but this is up there. And 100 Thieves, I think, knows it. And I think that this roster is going to be done. I think that they need to make some changes here because this was just embarrassing. And I'm not sure that they can mentally recover from this. Obviously, the teams they played weren't bad at all. Pain Gaming did end up going through to the Swiss stage, as did PSG. PSG's always been a solid team. But the fact of the matter is, in this last best of three, PSG curb stomped them. Like, it was the least competitive series I've ever seen at Worlds. It was ridiculous. 100 Thieves put up zero fight. The total series time, I think, was less than an hour. 100 Thieves, I think, got, 3 kills in the entire series? If that. It was completely embarrassing. I really would have gotten a kick out of hearing what was happening in the comms by the time they lost game 1 or game 2. It was just absolutely awful. And quite honestly, they deserve it. They drafted horribly, they played horribly, and the decision making was just awful. So they deserve to lose. I think they know that. The coaching staff failed, the players failed, and quite honestly, they shouldn't have even have been at Worlds. They weren't a top 3 best team in North America. They only got here because Cloud9 utterly collapsed and was completely mental boomed by JoJo's tardiness at that point. And 100 Thieves just shouldn't have been here. They were never good enough to make Worlds, but they did by the skin of their teeth by a complete miracle. And this is kind of what happened. I even think back to, I think it was 2019 Worlds when Clutch Gaming went 0-6 in groups, but they were really competitive. They were in a group with Fnatic and RNG, I think, and they at least made the games really close. They were competitive, and honestly, that was a really cool performance to see at Worlds. Even though they went 0-6 in groups, they at least made it competitive with every team they faced. That's really what I've been asking for from Western teams, especially this year. You don't have to necessarily take down all these Eastern teams, but at least make the games close. At least be competitive with them, challenge them a little bit. And 100 Thieves even failed to do that, and they didn't even face a top tier LPL or LCK team. They faced PSG and Pain Gaming, who again are solid teams, but they're not Gen G, So 100 Thieves should be ashamed of themselves. They shouldn't be embarrassed. This roster needs a complete revamp from top to bottom. Coaching staff should all be fired. They have no idea how to draft, no idea how to play. Honestly, it's really a shame too because Sniper was such a hyped up player coming into this year as a rookie and a really solid solo queue player, and he was just stuck on Renekton and Cassante literally every single game. And I feel bad for him because when this is the meta and this is what teams are picking, it feels like such a waste of his talent and his development as a player when he's just stuck on 2 champions the entire season. So I think that in that sense too, Hunter Thieves coaching staff should be ashamed of themselves. They handled Sniper's development terribly. They handled the team terribly. The drafting was awful throughout the entire year. And, this is what they get for it a completely embarrassing Worlds performance that's really nearing the 16-minute loss that we saw from Mad Lions a couple of years ago. And, maybe they can do something next year and revamp a little bit. But man, this was absolutely crazy. Let me know what you guys thought about Hunter Thieves' performance, especially in this best of three against PSG. It was just absolutely embarrassing to watch as a North American fan. But who knows, maybe Team Liquid and FlyQuest can get something done in the Switch stage. Thanks for watching. See you next time.